Um, Hi, Diana. Hope you had a good week.
Yes, I did. And you?
Yeah, I had a great week because this past week was my birthday, because it got me a gift. So, yeah, I had an awesome week because it was also like a big week in the market. And, this past week, like the past few weeks, has been like really big in the market. So, thank God. I decided to turn on my video today because I'm like it. I don't know how I'll feel next week. But let's go into it. So today, actually, I want us to go over a few fundamentals before actually, going into the charts, because on Wednesday and Thursday, or was it Thursday and Friday, the Federal Reserve of the United States, they actually, the chairman, which is Jerome Powell, he testified, in the Congress and the House of, like, that's the US House of Senate. So he testified there, and they were asking him questions about the economy. The Fed is the US central bank, like the Federal Reserve, is like the central bank for the US. You know how in Nigeria we have Central Bank of Nigeria with Mr. Emefiele. And like England, they have Bank of England, and all of those things, central banks. So the US, like, since the United States dollar is like a world reserve currency, so it is a very important currency. So all of these things that are happening in the world would affect it. Plus, remember, we are just coming out from a pandemic. We are coming out of a pandemic. Not even sure. I think the pandemic is ending. I think they are moving to endemic or something, whatever the case may be. But the economy is just recovering. And in that recovery, it's causing a lot of like inflation. So the economy is in a state of like high inflation. There is high inflation, and that is not good for the economy. So what's happening is the Fed have been talking. They've been using all their data and everything to try to curb this inflation that is happening, because if we have overinflation, it's going to affect the economy negatively. By the way, inflation is just simply, when high rises of goods and services. In fact, let me take you guys inside my course a little bit. Just a sneak peek where we talk about inflation. That's from the fundamental analysis course. Give me a minute. So we'll just look at inflation a little bit. So that will give you an insight into why what is going to happen will happen. Because in the middle of March, they are set to raise interest rates. So my MS, okay, so I'm going to use this. Hold on. Let me share. Am I sharing? Okay, no.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. So this is part of what I have inside the fundamental analysis course. So inflation is the increase in prices of consumer goods and services. We are all experiencing it all over the world. Everyone is experiencing inflation because, we just came out of, a serious pandemic, and now the war is happening. I don't even know how everything is going to pan out, but inflation is literally at the highest point it has been since 1785 in the US. I don't know the data for Nigerian inflation, but Nigeria too is experiencing inflation with everything. Every prices of everything has gone up. Everything has gone up. So oh, I don't know. How do I deactivate the waiting room? Okay. No, okay, sorry, hold on. All right, so people can just, so the prices of a lot of things have gone up, right, all over the world. So what that means is that people are paying more to get what they usually always get. So something that you used to buy for $1,000 could probably be like $2,000 now. The price of oil has even gone up. We also start feeling it in our everyday life. Oil has gone to like the highest number it has been in a while, and we don't even know if it's stopping there. So it's a really, really big thing. Inflation, it means the fall in purchasing power. And for you to get the data for inflation, I'm just going to give you for the US, you go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics.com. That they are the ones that give that inflation data. The Eurozone, you go to Eurostats.com. For Japan economy, the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications, they are the ones that actually put out this inflation data. So the inflation data is now monitored, right, to determine the strength of that economy. Because when there is so much inflation, it could be dangerous to the economy. If there is little inflation, inflation is very low, it means like the economy needs more money inside it. So they tend to like bring out monetary policies to stabilize it and keep it at its like average. So this I was just explaining how inflation, is. In 1990, a cup of coffee was a cup of coffee, DJ coffee. A cup of coffee was like 25 cents, and in 2019 it's like $1. So it's just like the normal thing that happens, but there are different types of inflation, which is like a whole bunch of stuff. So I'll skip all of that and take a sneak peek. So okay, quickly, how do they measure this inflation, that inflation is going high? CPI is Consumer Price Index. So they use this to just measure how consumer is spending, me and you, if you are living in the US, how like you're spending, what you are buying, and they just measure that. They also use the producers price index. So from those people that are producing, how much are they producing? So if they are producing a lot, that means there are a lot of people that are buying. There's so much money pumping into the economy, right? Through all of that. So during inflation, the money supply is high. Money is flowing in the economy. Hence, this causes the currency to depreciate. Now, this is where our concern as Forex traders come in. So the currency is depreciating when there is high demand for the currency would appreciate. So there is a lot of money that is flowing, so there's a lot of supply. The law of supply and demand comes into play, and that's what even the Fed chairman said, that the law of supply and demand will come into play when people are when there is a lot of supply, there is maximum supply of these currencies. It's going to cause it to fall and depreciate. So when there is an increase in inflation, central banks will look to increase interest rates. So you know what interest rates are? When you borrow from the bank, when you take out a loan, they ask you, you already know the interest you are going to pay on it. So now, when central banks increase interest rates, it will cause commercial banks and all the banks under them to increase their interest rates. So when people are lending, when they are lending to investors for business and all of these things, it might not look like enticing to someone to get a loan now to be paying a high interest rate in this currency. So it's going to affect a lot of businesses, it's going to affect a lot of things. It's not going to be enticing for investors to invest in that particular, to use that particular currency to do business because the interest rate on it is high. So when there is low inflation, they tend to decrease the interest rates. And the psychology behind this is when there is low inflation, by decreasing that, you are encouraging people to come and borrow more money. When you borrow more money, you're able to do business, make profit, spend money. So they need people to spend money, but now they need people to reduce spending. So the Fed chairman, Mr. Powell, said that the Fed is looking to increase interest rates by the 16th of March, right? By 16th of March, in like a few weeks, they're looking to increase interest rates. And as traders, you should know that in case your chart is shaking, you already know why that is happening. But it's not like you're going to trade on that day. It's just like the long-term outlook of things. Long-term, what they want to do is they want to help the economy to stabilize, because currently the inflation rate is at 7.5%, which is the highest it has been. Even in what year was that? That's let me check. Around 1985, it was around 7.0, 7.0 was around 7. And as at 2021, the 2022 rather, the inflation rate is at 7.5%. That is really high because the average inflation is around like 4%, 3%. Japanese JPY actually keep their interest rate at like 2%. They keep it low for a reason. That's their economy. But for the US, it's too high to be 7.5%, and that's why they are actually going to increase interest rates. So when they increase interest rates, it's going to cause the US dollar in Forex trading, it's going to cause it to fall. It's going to cause it to depreciate just for like a while, right? Maybe like a month or something. But definitely they are there to help the currency to flow well. So they won't let it fall to the ground and all of that. So that's just something for us to keep in mind for as traders, that this is going to happen. And he also mentioned that he's not saying for sure that they are increasing interest rates. They like to keep us on our feet. He doesn't want to say we are doing it so that, but he has been mentioning it. And he also said that they might increase it by 0.25%. So they'll start increasing it gradually. And analysts have said that at the end of this year, they might increase interest rates it might be increased by 0.5. They don't want to increase it too much. So, but that's a lot. 0.25 is quite reasonable. But he also mentioned that with the war that is going on with Ukraine and Russia, a lot of things are still uncertain. The economy at the times are uncertain. If there was no war, we would know for sure that, okay, interest rates increase. We already know how to react. But because we can see on the chart, so let me share the chart. What we can see on the chart is that DXY, that's the dollar index, is going up, right? And because it is a safe, it's a reserve currency, right? Because a lot of things are pegged to the USD. A lot of people do business in USD. You calculate so many things in USD. Commodities are done like in USD. So let me share this. All right. So I was checking CRB. That's a whole other stuff. So the DXY actually rose. Whoa, I'm just saying this. It actually it got to the second take profit. You know, this is so amazing technically. But fundamentally, what caused this to rise is because of like the ongoing war, reserve currency, and all of that. So if they are increasing interest rates, and the whole point of it is like when they increase it, it will fall. So it kind of makes sense. Because it's heading over to a weekly level, you know, all of that. If it goes up to this monthly level, I have to like rechart this and find a new fib level for here, because it just actually hit take profit 2 on this major structural fib. So yeah, that's there. So I didn't really do technical analysis this week. So it's going to cause USD to drop. So, but that is like long term, looking really far. I'm talking like 3 weeks or so, but looking really far into the markets. But just so we are aware at the back of our minds that this is what's going to happen. Right? And we had non-farm payrolls on Friday, unemployment data has been good for the US. So US economy is kind of recovering, but they also want to make sure like it recovers well, right, from the pandemic. So this war makes everything kind of like uncertain. And speaking about the war, I just checked, you know, if I take you guys to where I check my news, which is Market Watch. I also use investing.com, although you have to pay for Market Watch, and it's like $9 per month. I'm not advising you to do that. You can always use investing.com, which is free. You can use Bloomberg, which is free. You can use CNBC, just whatever. Another one I want to look out is Wall Street Journal, but I'm not sure. So I just like the way they write their articles, and it's like really, you know, I understand it better. So here it says Russia's invasion of New York. Yes, I also want to talk about this. Who remembers a few weeks ago when we said if BTC is considered a safe haven, something. Who was here during that time? Do you remember when if BTC is considered as a safe haven, it's supposed to rise? The news are now picking it. They are now picking it up. Do you guys remember? No, you were not. Okay. Anyways, I did mention that if BTC is considered a safe haven like gold, it would rise. But now BTC, if it tests it, if it passes the test, like they wrote here, Russian invasion of Ukraine is BTC's first test to topple gold as a safe haven, because all what they are clamoring for BTC is to like beat gold, do all of those things. But if it really is, then it should, you know, rise. Like this is a chance for BTC to prove itself that yes, I can hold strong. You know, but a lot of people are actually putting money using cryptocurrency to do a lot of transactions during this time, because they are banning Russian banks, they are doing so many things. So it's actually a very good opportunity for the crypto space. So I do see BTC like, if it passes this test, it can actually go up, although BTC was beautiful this week again technically, but I don't want to jump over to technicals right now. But I do see BTC if it passes the test, like going up and all of those things, and every other cryptocurrency following it. Since is, crypto traders are claiming like it's the new world order, blah 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 blah. I'm a crypto investor, so it's supposed to pass these tests. So let's see. We'll see how that plays out. So what happened with Russia is they had like an agreement for ceasefire, Russia and Ukraine, some form of ceasefire. That means like there won't be any war going on, they won't fight as at that time, just to allow people to evacuate the place. So I'm like, they really want to fight war. So they had that agreement, but Russia, Russia violated it. War in Ukraine. So Russia violated that, and then they started shelling. You know what shelling is? So they've stopped evacuation, and the war is still going on. And President Putin has warned like any third party again. He said again, and we know who he's talking to. So they are like saying this is a cold war. A cold war means like there are exchange of words. It's not like a heat fire war. Cold war is you are like how Yoruba people always fight. they don't actually throw blows. They just say, you are I'm partly Yoruba, so a cold war is like, you guys are just exchanging words from afar. So it's kind of what Russia and US are doing. We'll see if Russia and US should get into it. Now, then everybody should shake. Because so they are just exchanging with words, and everybody will be they'll be all right, though. God will take control. So let's move on to technicals, just a little bit of technicals, because yeah. But did you guys understand the interest rates, policy rates, and everything? Let me check the chat. Yes, okay, all right, thank you. Let's move on. Then let me also check the news we have for this week, because I've not really been on the charts that much. I've been having students like after my birthday, kind of in a mini vacation that is not a vacation. I need a vacation from my vacation. So, this week, next week. So I use my FX book to check the news that is happening. So the high impact news that we have for USD on Tuesday, we have a balance of trade. They check how their trades are going. On Wednesday, there's another high impact news for USD. On Thursday is the main one, where they are releasing inflation data again. And most analysts are anticipating that inflation is going to be at 7.9. So I said it's currently at 7.5. So that Thursday is actually a huge day, because there are like five things going on. So they are anticipating like 7.9. So if it actually reduces, if the actual number that comes out is like is still at 7.5, then it's not going to be that totally crazy. But if it's at 8 point something, that means it exceeded the high number that those people were predicting. That means this is hyperinflation now, because there are types of inflation. We have deflation, stagflation, headline inflation, all of those things. So hyperinflation, it's over the top. That means the interest rates might actually be increased by more than 0.25. So that's why the Fed chairman was saying like nothing is certain yet, but they are leaning towards increasing interest rates. And another thing he mentioned was that they are going to work on the balance sheet of the US. So there's something they did during COVID. It's called quantitative easing. So you can Google that, you can make research after this, but it just means basically printing money out of thin air and just making up numbers. I don't know how that is legal, but they are doing it. They did it. A lot of Congress people still don't understand how they did that, but they did it then, just patching numbers. That's kind of what they want to do with the balance sheet but they've not, that one, they are still talking on it. So he just mentioned it briefly, but since he mentioned it, like how they mentioned 3 weeks ago that oil was going to 110. So we need to pay attention to those details, that they're going to take care of the balance sheet in one way or the other, just to make the economy look good on paper and everything. So Thursday is a really good day to watch out for. It's going to cause a lot of volatility. I'm going to enjoy it.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Okay. Just like you mentioned about the interest rates going up, right? When it goes up and that discourages borrowing, people taking loans from the bank, how exactly would that reduce kind of like the supply of the currency so that it can increase demand and then inflation goes down? I don't know if I'm juggling it up.
Okay, I think I understand. So the point is, they want people now, right now, the situation is people are spending over, there is over money, there's a lot of supply of money in the market. So they want to halt that supply and, reserve a lot of money, stop the money from circulating in the economy. So it's not good for the currency at that particular point in time, but that's something they are willing to do to stabilize the economy, right? So people not borrowing, and the US economy, it runs on credit loans, credit this, all of those things, right? They use credit for almost everything. So that's why it's a really, really big deal. So people that are really owing loans and all that, their interest rates is going to, kind of like people that want to borrow, kind of like increase in that particular space. So it is going to discourage a lot of businesses from doing projects, from doing new things. I'm talking about businesses, people that borrow like $100 million, $5-10 million, all of those huge things. So it's going to discourage them, and that means the USD won't be circulating as much as it should. So it's going to stop circulating. So at some point, when they now review the numbers and see all of that, now they might now reduce the interest rate, and that would encourage more people to come more.
Okay. Yes, I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's quickly touch on technicals just a little bit. With BTC, first of all, BTC was great, but I didn't enter the full move, which kind of pained me a little bit, because you guys, first of all, it's the accuracy for me again. Last week we were around this area, so let me remove this fib. So I remember we were around here last week, also here, not sure. Yeah, and we said BTC is gonna go up a little bit, finish a move. I'm sure I had a ghost pattern here. Let me see if it's still there. No. The bus pattern, did I delete it? I'm sure this is not it. No, I was just playing with this one. I did. So it was going up, consolidating, and then when it got here, I actually wanted to send a video to the Telegram channel. I think I was almost sending it and I got distracted with something, but it was around there and I'm like, it's probably time to sell BTC. So I put this trend line here, waiting for a retest, and it retested. What happened was I got out in this place. I got in too early. So I took out my little profit and just waited for another retest, but it just left without me and I just forgot about it. And it came over to this zone. So currently where we are with BTC, we're currently at this previous zone of supply, of support. Let me find here. So a previous support zone, it already passed this place. So it might be retesting this area, or if also it comes into play, a lot of people are realizing again that cryptocurrency is good. So there might be like a large playing of crypto, because I think Ukraine mentioned that they are using NFTs now to fund their war, because during wars, countries need money. So it's a lot of fundamental play that is going on. So technically, I might be looking at this to go up a little bit, but because of this sell pressure, wait, I might have to remove this. Yeah. Can you tell that I didn't analyze before coming here? But anyways, we'll wait for this to like pull back a little bit. Wait for this pull back. This is like my large area where I'm saying it pull back to before continuing down. But if there's like a huge shaking in the market, it will just go down a little. It will go down straight rather. To go down straight. Also, gold did great. Although it was consolidating for the most part, but safe haven currency, it's going up. It went up during the week, and JPY too. Awesome. I think I mentioned this to someone, and it was gonna go up. I was just waiting for it to do that and break out of this place. So it did just that, which caused JPY, GJ, to just sink down. Now for GJ also, that was amazing, but I left early. And this entire move was just beautiful. So currently it's behind this 4-hour trend line. And we'll just wait for it to finish its move. This is a weekly level here, so we have to be careful. So it's on when the market opens, to watch for it to push down to this level, and that is also the second take profit for this. So if it pushes down, we'll be watching for a reversal back up. I mean, that's if Russia does not bombard the entire Europe before. But ultimately, if it even pulls back a little bit back to this, and I hope I'm not rushing too much, but I think we've spent enough time. But if it even pulls back to this previous support level, turning resistance, then it might come down back to this daily zone over here, which is like a really, really huge low for GJ. So first of all, since it's respecting this trend line a little bit, it might pull back, then finish up this move, and then we take it. I'm not really giving a lot of entries today, just wanted to like go over the interest rates. So during the week, I think this is the week where I actually really send things to the group, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, to see how this plays out. So Yep, for EU too, all Europe pairs really dumped, especially on Thursday. Yeah, on Friday they really went down. US 32, US 32 fell, but currently it is at resistance. I'm expecting it to go a little down a little, but I want to watch. It really finished with a high push. I actually entered this trade early, so I want to watch what it will do to know if I'll just go back and then re-enter. Really finished with a strong push on Friday, so when it does that, but it ended up at this minor structural resistance here. So we'll see if it breaks past or if it continues downwards, if it respects it and continues downward. So I'm adding NASDAQ to my list of pairs, guys, because I know a lot of people trade it. So I'm adding it. So we'll see how that goes. I've not marked up yet. Same with EJ. I've been marking up EJ just a little bit, but I've not really traded it. So when we have all of these things, so I'll be giving, those are the pairs that I'll be giving out back to back. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a lot. So like 10. And I'm going to be only trading like only 4 or so. But okay. If you guys want to vote for a pair for me to add to it, you can let me know. Just one. Or maybe I would, maybe people here can just type it in the chat, then I would now put it on the group to like do a poll on that Telegram channel. So yeah, you can just drop the pairs you would want me to add to this. So every Saturday I would go over it if it's not here already. Right, so that's going to be it for tonight. I think I've gone over everything. Oh, and I wanted to also add about Russia again, which is a new thing that I learned from the meeting that they had on Thursday. Yeah, on Thursday. The meeting they had on Thursday, which included the Congress. They said Russia and Ukraine combined, they are producing 66% of the entire world's corn, fertilizers, wheat. So if they are producing 66% of fertilizers, which people use to grow food in farms that they are eating, and they are fighting, currently they are not working, that's going to affect the entire world's food supply. So this is actually huge. Pray for Ukraine, pray for Russia, so that we don't end up having a world hunger, right? So the man was like, I'm here to sound the alarm, so we all need to do something about it. He asked the federal chairman what he's going to do about it, and he said that the government will look into it. They don't have a plan. So let's keep that in our prayers so that we don't get hungry. Nigeria, I think we have, our president is working with trader money and all of those things. So Nigeria will survive. So good night, guys. Have a great week. I'm going to send updates this week on how it plays out. I think this week is the 10th of March, right? There's something that's going to go on the 10th of March. That's the next inflation update on Thursday. Yeah. We already mentioned that, covered that. So good night. Take care of yourself. Have a great week. Yeah, you're welcome.